Hi, I'm Jay Allen from My True North, and in this brief video I wanted to talk to you about something called reverse triage. You see, in my former experience, in my former profession, as you can see from the wall behind me, I was a soldier in the British Army, and I served for 12 and a half years as a medic along the front line alongside some of the most professional fighting men in the world. Most of the time we're referred through our medical training to a triage system. How to be able to prioritise who's to treat first, should there be more than one casualty to treat. And predominantly we work on what's called a P1, a P2 and a P3 system. Basically a P1 is a priority one client or a customer or a casualty, and someone who we need to be able to respond to immediately with life-saving surgery. It's probably going to take a lot of time and effort and resource, but we need to be able to commit a lot of things to that person straight away in order to be able to see a satisfactory outcome. A P2 casualty is someone that probably needs maybe a little bit less of the life-saving surgery, but surgery nevertheless, but can probably wait just a short period of time, or if we have a quick interaction and do something there just to be able to create a delay, can afford to wait until we're finished with our priority one client. And a P3 is basically everybody else. The people that have got the broken fingers and broken arms and broken legs, but in actual fact aren't going to die as a result of the delay. And we need to be able to get them and show them how to be able to look after each other whilst we deal with the P1s and P2s. Now, predominantly in all medical facilities and in all medical circumstances, we operate quite well on a P1s to P3 system. There is enough significant resource and manpower in order for us to be able to manage that and manage that quite well, which is why the Army has got the reputation of being one of the most professional fighting forces in the world. However, there are occasions where we have to create reverse triage. It's actually referred to as T1 to T4. And I wanted to talk to you very briefly about what happens there. You see, on occasion, it could be that the medical facility in that particular vicinity is so overwhelmed that people are going to die. Significant numbers of people are going to die as a result of the amount of input that's coming in and the amount of output we can actually achieve in any one given period of time. In order to be able to save one life at P1, we've committed all of these different resources at the expense of potentially 2 or 3 P2 casualties that could worsen to P1 as a result of us not treating them quickly as well. And then you've got all of these P3s, a backlog of people coming in, people so quickly that we're never, ever, ever going to be able to catch up. We're going to run out of time and resource before the chance to be able to get to the mass amount of people coming towards us. And the local commander on the ground has the authority to be able to call, for a set period of time, a reverse triage system, T1 to T4. T1 casualties are how many people could we treat as quickly as possible? How many people could we just influx in, give them some kit, get them out the other side to prevent the backlog? Just get rid of the masses. T2 are those that perhaps need a little bit more medical aid, a little bit more professional care, but again, that we could quickly treat it, maybe 5 or 10 or maybe 15 minutes as a maximum, to be able to get them through and get them treated and out the other door. T3 are probably those that need more medical treatment, more ongoing care. And T4 is what's called an expectant group. Those that we don't expect to be able to save. People who we know that if we could treat them as a P1 casualty might stand a chance of survival. But in these circumstances where we've got so many things going on, we're not going to be able to get to them. We're going to give them some morphine so they're out of pain, and we're going to put them to one side and get to them when we can, once we've caught back up with the backlog. Now that sounds a really, really inhumane thing to do, but don't forget, this is not business, this is battle. This is survival. This is how do we manage the best with what we've got for the period of time that we've got to be able to do it before we can reevaluate, before the troops come in and the cavalry come over the mountain and come to save the day. How can we manage the best we can with what we've got until such a time as we've caught back up again? Now, the importance of being able to share this story with you is two things that have happened recently. Two clients that have got in touch with me and said, Jay, we're overwhelmed. We're so stuck at the moment that we don't know where to start, so that we're running around like headless chickens because we can't actually work out as to what to do because too much stuff's actually happening. One of them has got a significant member of staff, quite a key member of staff, that's suddenly gone on long-term sick leave and is going to be out of action and incommunicado for probably about the next 4, 5, maybe even 6 months. And as a result of that, it's a case of all hands to the pump. This person worked like a Trojan all the way through the business and things weren't documented. We weren't quite sure where they were up to before they've left. The operating procedures manual, just the business Bible isn't quite up to date. There were lots of things that were happening in here that haven't been documented there, and we're not quite sure what to do first. And we don't want to lose face by going back to the client and saying, can you just advise us exactly whereabouts in this process we are? And as a result, we're panicking. And another client who a competitor has just gone bust. And they've won a massive amount of work. So much so that they don't know where to start. They don't let it down because of how big it is, but they're at risk of putting all of their current business at risk if they just drop it to run off for this new shiny object, which is only an interim until we can actually win the contracts and it goes back to tender. And in both circumstances, they're saying, help! And in both circumstances, for a short period of time, we've got to create the reverse triage system. It's all right as a business owner, and we're talking about as a coach working on the business rather than in the business. But we've still got to be willing to get our hands dirty. We've still got to be willing to be able to put our hands back to the pump and dive back in again if we see a problem, just to be able to get things turning again, whilst we're pulling the right resource to be able to manage it. It's about not being so far away from the business and not being so proud about it, saying, well, do you know what? I don't need to clean the toilets anymore. Do you know what? If the toilets need cleaning, I'll do the damn toilets. We've got to be able to make sure that as far as the customer's concerned, any customer that's concerned, it's business as normal. And that means being able to reevaluate on a day-by-day, hour-by-hour, minute-by-minute basis, if you need to, as to where are the fire points, where are the friction, what's causing the things to slow down and get clogged up, and what are you prepared to do as the owner of this business to be able to ensure that as far as the customer's concerned, it's business as normal. You know the old adage about being swan syndrome? On the outside, above the water, it's a nice, serene, casual swim down the river. Whereas underneath, they're just paddling like hell and hoping to try and keep up. We've got to be willing to be able to review at all times as to who's the key personnel in our business, who's got all the responsibility, where is the responsibility, is it all documented, does everybody else know what's to do in case of emergency, is there some contingency planning in your business to be able to ensure that if a key member of staff suddenly disappears, has a heart attack, wins the lottery, whatever it is, that business continues. And if you want some help to be able to talk about the success strategy planning of you and your business, then we'd love to hear from you. My name's Jay Allen, the founder of My True North, the UK's ethical coaching company. Just get in touch with us by visiting www.mytruenorth.biz or dropping us an email at inquiries@mytruenorth.biz. And I look forward to speaking to you soon.